instruments ne ho aka de bia KFM Musical Center obehwe ayen hihye no ediama
Dada bat hair cap and so eton phones ene ho aka de bia se ope iPhone, Infinix, Samsung, Tecno, Jam, batteries, chargers nini ano dada bat hair cap e will be e demand wo ma so e kese no e wo kaneshi wo money takwa station no ana e ben pair a wo so wo mo di phones hu dwuma bia no nti se ope phone papa Mother's Day e be ope phone e kwesi ade ya na e Mother's Day na nti ope phone e de akwache wo maame e wo doson komo no make am for dada bat hair cap e de ama se koho na obenya phones ani bo e phone na san ye papa e beche ye papa dia ma warranty e da so no eno so esu ye papa no pay e ye dada bat hair cap en so e boye chidom ma ye di KFM TV news no ye de e ba besumo dwumeko we adarom ana no pay wo mu nyina aka boma wo mo so ya sinema ye di anopa news ye de e besumo me kwaso e kai wo se news etwego e wo ye abefo ntentam fide ne so Facebook any YouTube KFM TV GH no nti betimi akoko na wakohwe bi na wa share na wa like na wo de wa dwenche no e de go ase amaye kama wo betimi so e follow me okọ TikTok Lydia Nkrumah 682 okọ IG so Maame Esi Facebook and so Maame Esi obetimi akoko na no so wako follow me na videos ni pictures ahodo egu hono na wo de comment and so ato Afia
TikTok ni Afia_Mefia na say Mefia on TikTok oba Instagram so Maame_Fosuah Facebook no Bridget Esiama nti dia no so mede wo hono eno
Ebusuafo enu nti anopensem no de ebedi mo akotene ebi ense mampeni John Dramani Mahama de wakolanche code of conduct no ebeboa political appointees ahodo a womo ewo my Ghana
ye be concern fufuro mo na ye MPP amenyoku ne nsem ne de betoa so a eno nya asem keto akra mentime ho ase ene afen so basabasa ye ekoso na anopenche mu bebre na wo ho a ye de besomo ewo kase no eso
wo edwede nsem so no peni a woda cocoa board ano enso de abetudwa wo chem se wo afen pinu ni eduonu enum kosi afen pinu ni eduonu nsiem no ade akoko ni bo no ebekoso ye papa de amaye nyina ewo man mu
ye bebo ere ni gidie ensem na ye Telisa Ghana Music Awards omo so wedding hihye foforo kra de ababetudwa echem se ye red carpet ne ya ma we invite panya de so betimi ababe piem ho hoda ho nso so no amanebo ni nchiremu ahodo na bibiri ho ha ene anope ye betesem de amaye tifo
Ebusuafo we ne nsem ene afoforo pi anope yabo ano ayede ebesomo se KFM TV news anope edin a meje so ene Maame Esi Nkrumah meni minuaba
Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia meje so yegina so ne atonkra ye bapa ye hyensem na siamo
for Iguswa Emma Kwaba Edamase Sano Pay Mugusu Etimo TV ho KFM TV news Mekoswa Kai Wosanopa Newsy Etwego ewe abefo ntintam fide ne so Facebook any YouTube KFM TV GH no with me akoho na wakohwe bi ne wa share na wa like na wo de wa dwenche no enso de guasie amai kama ye hyensem na say de amaodia Ora Isaac Ajare a second vice chairman the new patriotic party wono ane dedwe a wo san a wo Sunyani West abaton peso so na wo de kokobo anase wo de subo kwa ama bono regional chairman Kwame Bafo abronye DC se wabo ne homoden ama abribia no bribe ana woje wo my Ghana ha ende woje a na politicians ahodo a mo my Ghana waje bribe from ho ne nsem bia enim force information ana okeka de fa omo ho nende ana Isaac Ajari de abeto dwa wo chem se sa no ma wo ye abronye DC wo my Ghana ha no bibia ehuneto no ono Isaac Ajari we huneto a sa no ma na wo ye wo my Ghana ha na ende de wo mo hye ne se wonhwe na wonjanye sa mra no eso ne mo a ene ni bedi ni ye papa na ye krata chairman Kwame krata ebeto dwa no chemu se sa no ma ye wo my Ghana penny for dodona ana ehunu say waje bribe and the sika pudo no waje na information nsem bia enimu no na okeka fa politicians ahodo a omo ewo my Ghana ha no nti semwe ana Isaac Ajari enso de abetudwa
ebusa ye pemnia concern from na deputy chief of staff onwonya for standogbe wono na yakase na nsem no what they call Ediama NPP amenu kuni afin so NPP aban Wochem se bra na MPP amenu ko ne to so His Excellency na nado danko Akufo Addo enka ne mampani ene na bedi eche Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumiati abenwa ne so no ene na chese niema hodo na wo so mo ye di gu akwan mo man Ghana timi fa ne tima padi fra no enya de ese omo etimi ye sanse omo ebe mu nyina no na niema wo makoma so mu timu po nyina se de antwe yie na anko yi obi di ye omo no wo muso benya tumi na omo so be ba betina so na ometimi ede sa eya no asan so ede amasa nipa no na enumu eno panyin che se kobasa na wo sa timu po se na betina benwa ne so hwe se odbebu o man na enya de ese bibia betimi akonanim na wie mu de na sansemi wadi to dra enada save the judiciary demonstration course on crime mu abra MPP amenu ko ni amenu ko ahodo mo kan bo mu ye o ye kopi mo Jubilee House ne ho eno gina apaso de sansemwe eto nsemhwefo ni
President. Let me say that we are happy that the process started this morning and has ended very peacefully. That in itself is a very strong message about the democracy that President Mahama wants to instill in our dear country. If it were the case like this over the past 8 years, I'm sure that the retaliatory politics that you talk about wouldn't have been the case. You referencing retaliatory politics is an admission that the 8 years of President Fosuah Oduahoma and Maame were not the best for this country. You can be assured, however, that President Mahama, as every Ghanaian knows, is not that politician. President Mahama does not believe in retaliatory politics. He's described as, too much of a father for all kind of president. But everybody knows that. Whatever actions that are being taken now, whatever decisions that are being taken now, as everybody knows, is in line with the provisions of our 1992 Constitution. Indeed, before President Akufo Addo left the presidency, he himself had started a certain process where issues were brought to him about the chief justice, and he referred them to the Council of State. And that is what President Mahama has done. It is not about retaliating on something that was done by the previous administration against President Mahama or the NDC. So the process that is ongoing is constitutional, and I do believe that if the committee that has been set, completes its work, whatever decisions that they make, just as the Council of State's advice to the president was binding on him, it will be binding on him. I can assure you and the people of Ghana that we appreciate
Adeshimamba yetwansem ne so ede amao anope ede NPP amenu kono endrada save the judiciary demo ekoso ewo my Ghana hanu eno anadom kuma omo ewo mashebedwafie ede tudwa omo echem sesisi ade mampani John Dramani Mahama mbombontinum na wo meche se sabato beto ewo my Ghana no so se Ghana for sign tomano se won sign engina ewo tetem a wono mampani John Dramani Mahama begina assign survey wo my Ghana bioma na enu nti NPP amenu ko nche dom kuma wo mo mashebedwafie nsemwe ana omoto ede amani mampani John Dramani Mahama se won bra montene na won beyi sansem no ano.
And so we believe, and it's a reasonable deduction to make from the steps that they are taking, to say that by the time we get a new CJ, by the time they have their own EC, By the time they go, and then there is backdoor, some operations to bring some petition or application before the Supreme Court to say that we want interpretation to Article 66(2) to determine whether what the Constitution says that you can run for 2 terms only, if that is to be a consecutive application or if there's a break, it applies.
All right.
And we believe that somehow the Constitution, the Supreme Court is a final authority in terms of what our Constitution intends to say. And so at that point, then there will be certain interpretation that supports.
Let me bring in
President perhaps to go 3rd term. If the President, one of our petitions, in our petition, we raise a question to the President, and that's why we need a response from the President, not the deputy. And the question is clear. Let me just say, the question is that there is reasonable suspicion in this country to suggest that the President wants to sponsor a certain constitutional interpretation or judicial interpretation to the Constitution to allow for him to run 3rd term. If that is not the case, the President must clear that doubt in the minds of Ghanaians. And that's part of our petition, and we hope that he will answer that, so that all of us, if we appear unreasonable, if we appear excessively conspiratorial, then everybody can...
Na afi 2024 ba ye ba beto aba no penya no to nkra edi free Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia akacha no no to franka edi ama MPP amenyoko no eyowura Dennis Miracle Aboaje enedue wa ba be kasa na ode nsem ne ko edi ama NDC amenyoko ni o maban ye to sisi ano wo chem se bra ne ba beto aba ne de ne ye bo hye ne de wo mo hye bebre na sanse no mo hye nim se nkofo be nam so ene sa adwumpo ni timupe edi ato aba edi ama mo nenso wo chem se omunya atumi ne betena so wie no omu hu amemu ne sokra de omo kaaye ene de omo gye so mbe nyina no sisi ano ni nyina abo ebra na enum no omo che se ba ne se yemfa policies ahodo engu apaso ye nhihye ye bebo ma oman ne tumpompa NDC amenu ko no enibi omo de omo te dase abra no omo kra so omo de na omenya tumi na wie so se be ya ombetimi ebu oman no eno akwa ye bu achibidin Dennis Miracle Aboaje ne nto aso ni.
I've been sharing series
yes,
on my Facebook
series,
wall. Unse to the beer, wawe no munsem. It me chichero. But look as a minister, he's fighting himself or debating. Or debate crisis. Obi crisis they started time. Did it start on the 7th of January? And as I say, I mean here. Because you remember say minister na kasa ebien no mutun kan say power and your war my way.
Yes.
A broswa to the sense when he cried said the other carbon cry on the and this was inside November, December. So on one who didn't hear also we shouldn't be in an energy crisis situation. His own words. So I just hear. No one also sign catching and say well who didn't hear as a summer and you to me a coach through an energy difficulty for 12 days. As our 12 days a for timetable and my room so I just say crisis being refuse on one Oba Bemun first interview, I can say the total amount of fund where you work.
Yes.
I had the best power, the best 24 hours per month. You know, no one sang quiet. In fact, almost someone setting up committee, be a chief of staff ahead. Then they come back to us 3 days later and say, someone resolve it. And I yes, I'm able to say more. It's who crisis, because it's when okay. Obi, a car ever 2 years 2017, and no I've been on some better year, difference view, the Paco check it. A car ever 2 years, energy sector 2017, and no one on better year.
And then that's a problem.
And I say,
that's how can one
8 years, it's our career 8 years, you're better year. And one year manager and the more can 8 years. I go through crisis 8 weeks. And one, you understand what I'm saying? See, it's not enough for you to just come and recount.
But they told you, said they left you. BB and I was saying, come on, declare Sakan. You didn't do it.
Now,
Esla.
Yes, Uja BBS declare Sakan. We didn't do it.
Adeshman Benuntin, same way, Anna Dennis Miracle Aboaje, Eddie to the Mawani Semcho for Shy, Etchetren, Como, yet one semnes or Eddie Amodia, Ghana Man Penny, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Eddie Abetuja, watch him say, appointees, I will appoint you, Muina, or Momo deadline, say, or more up to 31st March, or Moon declare or more asset, and from better your no man Penny John Dramani Mahama, Pembra or Betnasun, a idea would declare the asset, eto Ghana for in him, ama Ghana for in a no money. Can't be our now a appointees I would bet to just or moon declare assets and 31st March Adruno and no annual chum say one went to me and declare assets and for no man any acandia more amban a year 1 3 months salary no waje ade a wode koma Ghana Medical Trust Fund trust fund for Mampeni John Dramani Mahama walanche ewo my Ghana han wode sa sika no ekobua sa nkrofo ni nya eno ntinsem we ana Mampeni John Dramani Mahama de abetudwa yentie nsem no ebi.
On the 18th February 2025, I set a deadline of 31st March 2025 for all appointees who are taking office or being nominated at the time to declare their assets. An update provided by the Auditor General to my office indicates that some of you failed to meet that deadline. For all those who are appointed or nominated before 31st March 2025 and failed to meet the deadline, you are to forfeit 3 months of salary to be donated to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, named after me, Mahama Cares. In addition to 1 month's salary that I've asked all appointees to donate to the Mahama Cares Trust Fund. So it means that those who omitted to declare your assets by the date, you are paying 4 months' salary.
Ebusia inti egusua ewo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ni nsem no emu appointees ahodo a wo chese omu form ejapade ne niema ahodo omu wo no embetudwama Ghana de hie nyina hu kosisa afi MP mienu ani aduonu wotwe beso a yesa beto abebiem ne behu niema ahodo a wo musan so di free aban mu se ndisi amenu ko ne ntimi antena so biem na wo chemse bebre na besisese a woni wono me kasa no bebre na nya ade so mutimi edi wo meja pade ni wo mahonyade ahodo no etimi ebetu dwan nti omo akosi kotoni ma bosom ne de to sonso bibia wanfa ne niema ahodo wo amba mbetu bedwuma ma de hie hu no na che setin tontan woni sa nipa kono wo mu ni twaka bia ni chemu san so de to asansem ne so no eni.
However, if by close of day Wednesday 7th May 2025 any of you still fails to declare your assets, count yourself automatically dismissed. Because when it comes to protecting the integrity of this government, I will not compromise. Citizen engagement and reporting. Accountability does not end at the walls of this room and in just one code of conduct. I invite the citizens of Ghana to play a role in monitoring compliance of this code. A portal will be created for the public to report suspected breaches with guarantees of confidentiality and impartial.
Usiafo enu nti semwe ana Mampeni John Dramani Mahama to dwa wo sa endra dana ana wo sign lanche code of conduct eno ni political appointees amo my Ghana hano ebebo mo na ethics ene noma bia o so mutimi diso wo my Ghana hano etimi abo mo ye papa ne mra Mampeni John Dramani Mahama lanche sa code of conduct we ana wo de to bibia enima wo chem se sa code of conduct ba abebo Ghana for ni titu ene ni appointees we omo ewo my Ghana se ne be enu betimi acho mo kwan aguide omo na noma hudo bi e wo se omutimi je ewo my Ghana ha no etimi acho mo kwan no ma ye ninia e de aboa wo my Ghana semwe Mampeni John Dramani Mahama wono anodi tudwa.
In my 120-day social contract with the people of Ghana, I pledged to restore discipline, integrity, and accountability into our governance. Today, we're taking an important step towards fulfilling that promise with the official launch of the Code of Conduct for political appointees. This code represents a bold declaration of the standards we must uphold as servants of the public. It reflects our commitment to build a government that is ethical, responsive, and worthy of the people's trust. Let me be clear. This document is not a ceremonial one. It is a living and enforceable framework that outlines what is expected of every individual appointed under this administration. Though the document often uses the term minister, it applies broadly to deputy ministers as well, to presidential staffers, to chief executive officers and their deputies, to members of the Council of State, to board members, and other political appointees within the executive arm of government. And I include myself. It applies to my vice president, myself, the president, the chief of staff, the executive secretary, all advisors. All of us are bound by this code of conduct. This is a government of shared responsibility, and there will be no sacred cows.
Fosuah was Sresrebidi no as in a code of conduct. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or dine di ewo Sresrebidi na senache senema hodwa ebetnetini ebebo mo ebetuto manamo edcca na ebebo ama appointees ahodo adwuma ede ba be show mo nsa no betimi aye amomai Ghana etimi afa ne ntimapa ede fra ne ho na His Excellency John Dramani Mahama san so di tudwa se bro betna benwa ne so no enu nya hyen ahodo mienu a eye gift ankofo ede che no san omo do no omo pe no ene niema ahodo omo ye nti no wo mo ede ma ne se wonsom no nje na enum no che se no kra no when declare anka ye asset no nti oni ye ka se due die sa ahyen mienu no wo de ma eye oman no na che se no sum be ye adwuma emfa nsom oman Ghana nchemu ene nto aso no eni
Ebusiafo anu nti ka Mampeni John Dramani Mahama adonate edi amoman no eno ani etwa edi betwem de eto ansem ne so ede mo apim akonsem fofom dia eye Dominic ayeni wono anoye attorney general ewo my Ghana no de nsem we ene kokobo ekwama eye Mampeni ni political appointees a womo ewo my Ghana emra Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ede final eye verdict ba se womo fa womo eye asset embetu dwa mo bibia entibi no wo twem se womo a womo ntimi anfa ba beto same womo nsan fa ba ye no eye ade a womo be ye nhwehwemu yie papa ede afomu na wan sabe so mu na eye ade Ghana mra no ene ebedi ni yie papa nsem we Dominic ayeni awoye attorney general ewo my Ghana hano wono anode tudwa.
Enforcement, as he himself has put it, all right, there are various ways of enforcement. One way of enforcement is to ensure that there are sanctions. Okay, sanctions will apply for breach of the code of conduct for political appointees. And as he himself said, very clearly, and he said it without mincing words, is that if you breach the code, you get disciplined. He will terminate your appointment.
Is that enough? Is that enough? Only termination of appointment?
I mean, of course, if there are other consequences flowing from your conduct, that will also be looked at. So, for instance, he said it's legally, enforceable, and that is true because if you have been, terminated, if your appointment has been terminated, it should be possible if criminal conduct flows from what you have done, for the Attorney General to then pick up the matter and then, make sure that the courts impose the necessary criminal sanctions on you. And so I don't think that it is, enough to say, look, the person's appointment has been terminated. If the termination has come and there is anything to, follow up as far as criminal sanctions is concerned, it will be done.
But would you as Attorney General, would you be willing and ready to prosecute one of your own?
Adeshima Benutin same way and Attorney General Dominic Ayene wodi to Jemra woni nsem chofo hia etwetwen komo ye gina ne nsem so na ye twa ye ho akwaje aboafo nkra to abayeba nsem no dodo na ana ede beto aso ama.
Fraba e jasoni o yanom e hyen a en use fuel we so yensesa oil ne wo hia ene ni key e hyen egumechi nyina eye lip moto Giomi anase nami eyemu bia wo sabeka wo KFM Limited e wo Ghana ha lip moto abefo kansa abi yanom emwedene sanso efe wa hwe interiors here. Here me Timothy and your friend lip moto. I was 3 modes of driving. Obey me a switch it, so open 10 more. Obey the sports mode. So person will save you battery. Obey me is economy mode. I say pen tem now open normal riding so. Your friend a standard. Who charge your battery within 6 hours. I bet me do work Kumasi aba. Measure air 310 kilometers. Into one how. Obey me so the 3 hours fast charger. I charge na man you full. Bonama no akọ Kumasi aba say no me try the aka no Giomi ne awo hia ne key make sure say key ne ben wa wo hwese na interior on tie na black and white papa so no FSN why screen tintin e bo ma hu car no battery aka na ma hu mileage nso wo so when so de etu kwan 320 kilometers and sana was a charge we bet me a charge in 6 hours fast charger 3 hours abefu efidie yin so we bet me a driving in 3 modes a standard sports and I say economy so we pentem to say me yanom choose sports what say we bet me to quite fi hakoko base ama battery ni bi so aka because a 320 kilometers we charge in 6 hours we bet me your full battery now when you fast charge and so 3 hours per you're set making sure so okay in the car when you saw wakem we be a door na start chili jobi black and white makoma swat man san kawo de you check the aka no yeah no abefo de ni mu ba ko ni o dia wonya no key making sure so key ni ben when you saw wakem wheel no f leather na ewo mu no so dance eye gray ni o ma hodo mi no de ni hakakra ene de mu odu esan so was screens mienu wey e ma information a wonya wo car ne hunyina ase besia bonum papa your friend entertainment dia wo hia no ane e that's we betumi so driving in 3 modes just like the others standard and I say sports so open tema car we so e betumi etu kwan akokomase aba 330 kilometers bichema udu kra betumi jesi so no wabonyum kakra ansa na edu wo charge in 6 hours no so bet me so charge no 3 hours if I no fast charge you know nyina KFM limited and they are better so fraying near me sanka wo de ententem so open installment a high purchase and train one nase we've got you solid Yanume on sabet me aka fidie mu bia e wo KFM limited on sabeke fidie no na wetua no nkakra we unya no bebia age KFM limited fraying ever sort out
Ewusiendo ase eno breno adaje nsan from bra KFM TV so se na no pe okwa ye ho na esu egusu tie pono echi na ensem ahodo etwegu no yegusu a ede esom ye tansem ne so ede ama odia na wotwe etwemu ene bede adwa se ne breach kese bi paabo ewo mampon ene ne mpotemu ni nyina ne so hene poporo wo ho eye da sebre osebunso a otoso mienu no ba mwewu edna pakan aba be fa no na che say empanyfo ani abri papa se krodom enam so kra mo mukopie mu ewo tumfo say to otoso mienu ababiu na kache ewo menhia ahemfie wa santemantem ni nyina na che say wo mo kwa akobo na mane de baaye ne de kosi ye ne dwe da sebrebun so otoso mienu enkante asefo ho bi ne dwe no otumfo say to otoso mienu ahye wonom ene empanyfo mo ewo mampone ne mpotemu omo hwe ni mu senche bia no mo eye nefuano aduanan 40 days on be hwa ye nhyehyeye edi ne ma hodo ne gu akwem no metimi akwakope na chikrabre na numu no mo che se ne due kra na ame no kase nu otumfo say to otoso mienu na woda ne 75th birthday na sene arehosem yesi no enya de so metimi edisa wode ahyehye so wo bedi na emom no wo bedi ne kom yemu ene brebro mu sanse omuni anije mu ye odasebra we free muntino sa birthday omundi no sene anije mu e wo sen komoye no ombe ne brod bibia ebegu fomo ni nyina no wo mo de kire ni so ene odo ne ahomfama na omo ewo ma no kosi se ba amwo ede na pakan ebefa ne ti afen so ye cancel meetings ahodo a ewo so omo ye ne hyehye ahodo ni nyina no wo mo de ni nyina no to hold kosi se omkwa akope onmunyamfo echi krabre no eno omo de sa ne ma ni nyina ewo so omo ye se oman ene afen so ahemfo dwumedi ahodo ni nyina no wo mo ede beto aso
Thank you, any fun. Catch a name, Maame Bonima. O say, Mempersa better watch it in Tibia. Mempersa better at the Diana Pepper Pepper, see raining in Asha Bibia. Never can a Juada one chance one in our twins in the 12. And now to me and say, Yenny, Namembra, Monsieur Madia.
Joe,
you are what Penesi Nemo at all.
Number for 4. Namon him, on before, silver silver. So you see, I didn't answer me. What can you do? Wouldn't you have found a number? The recent double see. And then I want to what trust now say the woman saying there who says the small money this is money the now what to be used for pepe now what to be used for pepe only know now say you will not be seen at there and some of the seen all man na honche this will get to see
Tiafo no nti eya asante mantem eya menhia palace dwumede we ana course of amam eya asante hino tumfo say to the second e sansem we na etu dwa ye de mo e consent from dia eya education minister onmonyam for Haruna Idriso enso e de abetu dwa wo chim say eya educational institutions ahodo a ewo my Ghana hemra mampani dada eya nana adodanko ekufuado etu edin foforo edin foforo etoso ade ha wo mo ndc amenu kono eno ministry education wo mo de hihye pa gu kwan ma eno ebebo ama sa edin a wo mo sesan yi na wo mo asan de sesan foforo abema eno ebebo ama Ghana education system no etimi akwanim ye papa de ama ensem we Haruna Idriso wono ana wode etudwa.
Of some public universities were changed and renamed during the tenure of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. There is a policy shift. There will be changes in the names of the universities that were done. It is not to fail to recognize the contribution of any individual or their standing, or undermine the legacy of any statesman, or diminish their contributions to our national effort. For instance, Dr. Abdullahi Salafo Technical University will revert back to the Tamale Technical University. We will do that. I introduce a bill in Parliament that will seek to rename some of the public universities in Ghana, including the Dr. Abdullahi Salafo Technical University, back to Tamale Technical University. Simon Dombo University will be renamed. C.K. Tadam University of Technology and Applied Sciences will be renamed. And Dr. Ephraim Amu Technical University will be renamed back to Ho University. I'm still engaging with traditional authorities, engaging with members in academia and alumni association, students and civil society to make that determination.
Adeshima Benu in some way ana Haruna Idriso editu dwemra woni nsɛmtwofo hyiaye etwetwe nkomo ye gina ne nsɛmiso na ye twaye ho sima abaye ba ye de moko idwedi nsɛm.
Ebusia eto ansem ne so e wedwedi ensemu e dia ma odi aye kɔ kwawu arenade no wo kwawu West municipality e we pueye mantemu na wono mo nyen eye nantwi ahodo e wo ho no mo nkabo mu kwa wo ho no wo mo dia disrede na ekɔ e dia ma mpanyifo mo hyem se o medwuma no emu aye din ye pa e dia ma mo saban ntwa nani afa ma mehwe mo dia enchi bia no edwuma no ni nyina ebegu wo mo kyese niema ahodo e wo so mu hia e ma edwuma na tumpo na ekɔ nanimu no e ho nsɛm kan na akwakoye din e dia ma mo na ye Fulani chief e won kokɔ ho e ye chief Harida won na ejire mu e de sa de sedi we kwa ma mpanyifo so mo mbran straban mu enwenu ya anye sa de edwuma no ni nyina no betimi ego sanso chem se bedru pempenso bi a omukɔ Burkina enokofa nentwe e de ba pm wo man Ghana ha na kyese ba ne sikasema hodo mutue na ni nyina eye niema hodo ekekabo mo ma hwe ya adwuma no enya de se betimi atena hoche ni nche mo de tu dwa e de kɔma aban no eni
man so ebo aye ma ye wo and ansana emwano atimi akona nim ansana eba market so a ebo no so ba de eba ba fo se tisi ai no mi de mi mani career na ntwe no ne boy de tisi enye bibia nso na ma ne boy de se emre kakra etwemu ye wa ho kyerɛ mu fa na ntwe adwuma wa ho kyerɛ mu se ntwe no ye nyankrofo a omankasa esɔre ekukum mu ano jobi wo kra na yakum ne mo anyina ama adane ohia ne se ne ba ya one ne yere ne mbakra gadi na ayasa je hono yehia mo efi aban o se saa ne ma no se omde om nice fo na nkrofo a omukunkum de mo ano saa kese bibi ni kra am se enintina empanyifo
Mwa eno munyamfo Muhammad Kamaldeen Yaya ono ye Dagomba wonum chief a wo ho enkokɔ honum wono so di na no tu mu bi se eba no nantwie na ebo ne kɔso yi papapa ekoba so se omo fa kwan so akwa akopie mu obi aya hodo menya nantwie ndi aba bepie mu o my Ghana ha na akromfowiemfo so esi omo kon so dendende anya asem keto akwa ni nyina no eye ne mo hwe sempanyifo be ye bibia fa ho ne no aboa mo medwuma mo ye e wo sa abro no nipotemu e de asomo my Ghana no eno so betimi ayi
opposition ye frame Mohammed Kamaldeen Yahya Dagomba hini owo nkoko de ma sisi ano de ono me ho se frame ne baboa ni se mo ba ha no me de e beboa but na yena ntwe no na ntwe no na price ni kwaso ti esra ban se ka Common Shannon Fasika boy and I am from Will. The Jumana Iron, next year Jumaka Sepa. Yes, let's say by one share. Yamba and the enough as your cook would be a coyeji. Ecotona Gina by a coachy, a consoir. I'm over so much to be tacky a consul. When so worry. Tisiano are Jennifer Hanna and say, why? Young Quitty Chiribu, I am Tisa Easter Bar,
Fosuah ewo edwedi ensem nim omudia Chief Executive Officer Edima Ghana Cocoa Board eye Ora Ransford Abbey wono enso ede boshe kese ekwama cocoa farmers ahodra womo ewo my Ghana wo chi mu se womo nka makoma nto mo yempa isa se eye cocoa bo no ade a ebehwiri akosuye papa wo hwe nim se eye 2025 any 2026 enko na ewie ye na Ghana ye cocoa ho nsem no etimi akonenim a ebu adida so no enu so etimi ehwire akonenim ye papa na wo chese eye new prices yi wo mo hwe nim se wo August busumi mu ewo afimpinu ne eduonu enum no ana price fofoi ebe hyase aye adwuma ewo my Ghana wo de nsemwe etudwa wo ma wo de eye ne nationwide tour ehyehyɛ so ewo eye cocoa growing communities ahodo ewo my Ghana ha ne ho ana eye onwonyam for Ransford Abbey etimi ebo ne homode ede sa abɔhye kɛse we ede to Ghana fo ina enimetitu eni cocoa farmers a wo mo ewo my Ghana ha ne nti semwe ana Ransford Abbey enso ede abetudwa ye gina ne nsemi so na ye twa ye ho sima abaye ba ye de mu kra ni gye nsem emu
So ewe ni jidimu enfama de year 20 seat Telecel Ghana Music Awards no empanyifa yen hyehyɛ ehwɛ ni mu sekoto ni mabosom ne de toso eduye enomo e de be hyehyɛ so a eno enya asem keto akra na kyesa artist ahodo a ya nominate omo no won be hwa ma kyɛde ni afi so abasobode ahodo a esefata omo no wonom ensa ka ne dua ne mu kasa die womo hwe ni mu sesa adwuma die ne betimi abem na abem shronko abem asomdwem bibia be ye bɔkɔ na adedi no womo de hyehyɛ fofo kra e na ababetu edwa womo kyerɛ red carpet adane da womo eye mine celebrities ahodo be gina so yi mfonyini any interviews ahodo ekoso na feed die sani betimi aboa ma bibia konkan na konanimu no betimi gina red carpet ne so a je se wonya invitation Wobo chem say mfie pimpim bebre na Ghana fo bebre na ebisa eye mfasode ne afenso enmunyam hye wo sa red carpet ne so womo chem asese obehu na obia kekese bi wakwa akogina red carpet ne so womo chese say obi oye celebrity na wo celebrity ne kra no e wo si ama invitation e na won wa ho akwanya se obetimi bepie mu e wo ye red carpet ne so nti se bi enye obia keke e no sori anu aba begina ho na ne oba be kan nsem bi e no ensem fata ye ma on inviter uni ho akwanya se otimi kogina ye red carpet ne so na afi di omo chese red carpet ne so no wo ma ye nmienu baby aye celebrities ahodo no begina yi mfonyini e na afi so baby o begina interviews ahodo no ebekoso nti we ni hihye fufuro kra eye Telecel Ghana Music Awards omodi aba betu dwa aba beboa ama ye 26th edition no etimi aba so asumdwem
yeguso Modia eye Mark Okwekumanti wono anoye Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture wono so ede abetuja woni nsɛmtwe for twetwe komo na ne nsɛma ne sɛ wono de na koma so ade ne ni so ade hono ene daye so sɛ ansa na wo be free so sɛ Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture no na wabɔ ne homode ama eye amfe theater no na wo mu ahwɛ ewie esi ni nia ede aboa wo man Ghana semwe anna eye Mark Okwekumanti ede tudwa.
Yes, it was to finish the amphitheaters because we would have added that to President Akufo-Addo's CV. Yes, it is still his CV because he built it. Even as we exit, he got the budget. The money is there to finish. So it is still President Akufo-Addo's achievement. But I would have loved to finish for him to open, launch, commission in his name, like President Rawlings did to the National Theatre.
Yeah.
You know,
what's prevented you from doing that?
I think that it's budget issues, and again, that's why I'm happy that Honorable Jifa Gomashi is the one in charge.
Yeah.
Things would have been different if I were to be in the seat of the main minister.
If you were the main minister,
yes,
things would have changed. Or things would change.
For in same way, and a Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, A.M. Mark Okwekumanti, editor Jaroma, one in some Fosuah Oduahoma common. Ye jinan in semi so nano news no ye ninia aba nevi nano pay sem no di mo akutne ebi NSM man penny John Dramani Mahamed Rada and no lunch a new code of conduct ebeboa any political appointees o my Ghana.
Yebo Ryan PPA menu ko ni mo na abronye ho nsɛm bi etwegu ya e na no pe yede so mo e wo KFM TV kase so
yede dwade nsɛm ebro eye cocoa board penny a woda no Ransford Abbey ense de bɔhye kese kwa ma cocoa farmers a wo mo e wo my Ghana ha sɛ eye cocoa price fro no enche bia wo mo de beba abetudwa
Afia ni jide nsɛm nso eye Telecel Ghana Music Awards so mo hyehyɛ foforo kro mo de aba betudwa e de afa ya afi TGM no ye no so ye de munchemu no ebedan
Ebusuafo we ni nsem ene afoforo pi anope ye boa no ayede ebesom se KFM TV News aseda kese enkomfama KFM Musical Center se ope instrument papa abo e wo asori ana odwumedie bi ase se oye DJ na ope spinal machines foforo cry betimi abomu ye papa e de ama ona abribia ukwa event a nipa dodo na ene betimi aton sade afro make afo KFM Musical Center e de ama o se koho na kwaje o instrument a edimu na esaye papa ne bo enso ewo form no koho na kwaje wo de na yusu se ne be betimi abo ewo ade nyina emu anope KFM Musical Center ebo ye chidom uban cremantem hase a wo mo ewo Accra Zongo Lane wo Asante Mantem so wo mo ewo Adum Kumase wo mo ne Sambra Hotel no ana ebo nhwani ma wo mo so ebo ye chidom a edi KFM TV News no yede ebesom
se ne betimi abo ama osikasem etimi agina brand akonanimu na wonyo how ni nchiwahwe bia ewo ho no Talent Microfinance omo so ebie omo tabemu edi ama maybe apono ato ho sebre na bibia fa asikasem ho bia no mo hwe no mo hyehye nye ni yi kama entimi emfa ma enti ndwedifo ahodo mo man mo ankrankre eni nwumeku ahodo nyina mo hie sika besia no mokɔgye nso ansi huni ekuma bi metimi etua mo de ye adwuma ahodo a mo de di nso afaso kese beba so de ama no Talent Microfinance woto nsa etimi edi afro sebra no mo ma osika woda obeda sumdwe wo ho wo nkofa nchiwahwe ne oha bia embrɛwo ade enche ema ye mfa banka ba bia nkoto nsa omo se bre no monye san hyehyɛ ni emfa ma afin so osike bi da ba bi pe ba bi de esie ebre semwo ne fatamwo bra okwade akwakoye wa de betimi akwakofa mentimo asibia embeche no talent enso se no so ye hu adwuma ewo ho afi sikasem hu dwuma di ahodo bia wonim bia no bodin ukopie mo talent o makache a ombehwe ayen hyehyɛ ne kama etimi edi amamanta medu ne die na medwumaden o mahyatem nti de ben won utwipini omo a na no medi nkomo de fasikasem hu bia no ombehwe ayen hyehyɛ ne ye edi ama
eye dadabat haircap and so SSL performance papa ni bowo form na san di mu na warranty da so na sunye papa dia dadabat haircap en kwa na make for e dia ma so pair Infinix, iPhone, Techno, Samsung, Itel ni anu do ni chemo dadabat haircap won se betimi akabi enye phones en kwa ho akade no battery charger AirPod earpiece ni anu okọ ha won sa ebetimi akabi wo mo ewo kaneshi womonni Takwa station no ene BNP wom branch for no so ewa Accra a obetimi akoho na wakwaji wo phones apapa a ne bo ewo form no wakwaji bi ewo hosa anopen yumekwo we adaruma ana omutimi boy chidoma e KFM TV news no yede ebesom wo yede omu ina ase yede awa otifi abibia no once we do a video no to KFM a wo hwe news na wo san ebo ye chidum etai ye chi abibia no yeda mu ina ase yeda production team ni na ase se omo so omutimi boy man opa news yede ebesom anope edin ameje so ene Maame Esi Nkrumah mini minuaba
Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia meje so yada mase ama mu nyina mu ene hwanitia munje yade hye